Welcome to French Grammar B, a whole year of intermediate French in less than 10 minutes. If you haven't already seen French Grammar A and French Verbs B, I recommend you check them out before you watch this one. There are 3 ways to make exclamations in French. The first one is to change your intonation. C'est bon, c'est bon. The second method is to use a form of quel plus a noun. Remember, quel has to agree with the noun in gender and number. C'est un bon livre. Quel bon livre! The third is to add si or another adverb before the adjective. C'est beau. C'est si beau. If you want to compare 2 or more objects, you can use plus que, moins que, or aussi que. Watch out for the ones in the blue box because these words drop plus in the sentence. You can use le plus or le moins to say something is the most or the least. These must agree with the noun in gender and number. Notice that there's a different word order depending on if the adjective typically goes before or after the noun. So belle has to do with beauty, it goes before. Elle est la plus belle fille du monde. And paresseux is just a normal adjective, so it goes after. Il est la personne la moins paresseuse que je connais. Since French doesn't have cases, it relies very heavily on prepositions. All the prepositions in the box below never change, but if you want to say to the or from the, you have to use different forms of a or de, depending on if it's male, female, starts with a vowel, or plural. Certain verbs will always take a certain preposition, so if you want to know more about which preposition to use, you can check the link below. Right now, we're going to focus on aller and venir, which are some of the more complex ones, since they can take a lot of different prepositions depending on what they mean. Take note of how the prepositions change gender depending on the noun that comes after. For example, for aller plus a country, au is male, on is female, and au is plural. If you are going to use pronouns after a preposition, they must be tonic pronouns. You must also use tonic pronouns if you're going to use the word même, self, or if you want to emphasize the subject pronoun, which, by the way, is a great tip to help you sound extra French. Instead of saying je suis française, you could say moi je suis française. Certain dictionary verbs have the word se in front of them. This simply means to oneself. This word is required. In French, you would never say I take a shower, you would say I shower myself. For these words, there is an extra word called a reflexive pronoun that goes in between the pronoun and the verb, and it has to agree with the verb. If you want to specify that it has happened to each other, you can add à l'un l'autre to the end. If you want to use a subject pronoun as the object of a sentence, you can use a direct object pronoun to replace it. For example, instead of saying, I gave the cats to Robert, I could say, I gave them to Robert. If you want to replace to plus a subject pronoun, you can use the indirect object pronouns from the table on the right. So, for example, instead of saying, I want to give my gift to Robert, I could say, I want to give my gift to him. Whenever you are replacing something with a direct or indirect object pronoun, these must always go before the second to last verb, unless you're using passé composé or any other tense that takes a past participle, and then the direct object and indirect object go before the first verb. If the direct object is originally female or plural, the past participle must also be female or plural. The last 2 pronouns are I and on. I is used for a, to, plus an object or a place. It can be used in the expression penser à. On is used for quantities. If you want to replace des, some, you can replace it with on, but if you want to replace a number or a quantity, you will have to say that quantity too at the end of the sentence. These go in the same parts of the sentence as the direct object and indirect object, but they will come after the indirect object. Neither of them have to agree with the past participle. Ne pas isn't the only thing you can use to negate a sentence. There's a whole ton of great words for that. Watch out though, because when you have two verbs, they don't all work like ne pas. If you want to make hypothetical situations, you can use the word si, if. Si can be used in the first or second half of the sentence, as long as it has the corresponding verb tense. So for example, if you're going to do si, then you would have to do imperfect right after it, and then in the next clause, conditional. And if you switch that, you would do conditional, and then you would do si plus imperfect. In certain expressions, such as après or avant, you put a de after it, meaning that there is a verb infinitive that comes next. For example, avant de nager. However, if you put a que, you are using a noun, such as avant qu'on ait nagé. Also with que, some of these expressions take the subjunctive, such as avant que. Check out the list in the description to see which of these take a subjunctive. Let's start making complex sentences. Relative pronouns help us take two smaller ideas and combine them into one larger one. Both que and qui mean that, où means where, and dont means which. Note that if you're using que, and the first and second half have the same subject, you must replace que with de. Also, watch out for situations where subjunctive could come up. When you're using que, and you have a feeling, wish, or desire, or a doubt. Qui means who, and lequel means which. There are a ton of different forms of lequel, depending on if there's a preposition or a verb in front that takes de or a. Auquel, à laquelle, auquel, duquel, de laquelle, desquels. Ce que means what, and if it is used more like qui or dont, it becomes ce dont or ce qui. Congratulations! You finished French Grammar B course. Now you have 2 years worth of French grammar, and if you understand the rules well enough, you can create just about any kind of sentence. If there's anything you want me to review in more detail, or something you didn't get, feel free to leave a comment below. I hope this helps. Bonne chance avec vos études!